Today's program is brought to you by Vagabond Creative Studio and KLO LLC. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina. I'm your host, Tina Prigge, Vagabond Creative Studio. This lovely lady is Kristin Odell with KLO LLC, and look at what she's showing us. It is 7 degrees.
It's 7 degrees and the negative, sorry guys, this kind of sucks. It's catching the glare from the window. Negative 16 is the real feel.
The real feel is negative 16. And it is snowing as I look out my window. I thought it couldn't snow if it was too cold.
I also thought that, but it's certainly snowing. Without a doubt, it is snowing. And it's supposed to continue snowing for a little while, I think.
So 7 degrees. All right. Hopefully everybody who's watching is someplace where you are warm and toasty and safe. I do have to show you. Oh,
I was just going to say, I think we have a little something icy to show our viewers here.
This is the door down at our studio, you guys. This is the inside of the metal door. At first, just the glass was covered in sort of this beautiful frost pattern. And as it's been getting colder and colder, now there's actually this frost buildup. And you can see on the little knob that you turn for the lock, it is literally covered in frost.
Right. Have you guys been using this door, or do you have another entrance that you can use?
This is the door this is our usual entrance.
Oh my gosh. So like the lock will still turn and work?
Yes, fingers crossed.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that is like the movie Frozen, where it starts on the door and then it's like cracking out. And so for all the days we have that it stays negative, it'll, hopefully not start crawling up your walls or anything like that.
I'll start to feel like I'm in a horror movie if that happens. That would be terrible.
Right. Oh my goodness. Okay. So Jason was just telling me before the show that you guys were advised to not do anything with it. Not, somebody else told me their lock mechanism wasn't working, that they were going to run a blow dryer over it to try to get it to dry out.
Oh.
But Jason was saying that somebody mentioned that you could crack the glass when it's that cold and fragile, and to not mess with it.
Yeah, I think we have to be really, really careful with it. And the thing is, last week somebody stole the sign off the front of our building, which I can't even envision how that went down, but it's gone. So literally there's now no signage in the front of the building. And I have plans to get vinyl in the window, at least until the new sign is made.
Right.
You can't even install the new vinyl because of all the frost.
Right.
And you don't want to scratch it or, do anything that might damage it or crack it. So it's just a weird little scenario.
I believe that somebody just really felt like they needed your sign. Like you and Jason are so famous that they wanted your sign to hang in their basement or something, that it's in the right place.
That's a beautiful way to look at it. Actually, that's a really positive spin. I like that. It's much better than somebody, not liking us and doing it out of spite or something. So.
Absolutely. You've just got to believe in the best version of the story.
Let it go. Let it go.
And one time when I sang that on the show, here you are doing it. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes. It is a bizarre thing. I hope you guys get it back.
Thanks. Yeah, I've got plans to get a new one, and when that happens, I'll be talking to them when they install it. Okay, do we have to Supermount this in some way? How do we prevent that?
Supermount. I love it.
So, Kristin, have your kids, messed with your technology at all during Zoom? Do they have any technological advancements that you don't have?
So Grace found the background feature on Zoom, which I don't think I can do it right now, but you can put yourself in Hawaii or in outer space or whatever. And so she has messed around with that a little bit. Other than that, I don't think too much. How about you?
Yeah. Once when I logged into Zoom, it was the outer space background because my son had been using it just prior to that. But fortunately that day I actually had stars on my sweater. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go with this.
Rocking the outer space today.
But I have this image, and maybe you guys have all seen this online. I thought this was, charmingly hilarious and also, tragic. So this is a Zoom trial. And these are a judge and attorneys. And apparently you see the cat in the right-hand corner, that's actually an attorney, but his kids were using his computer before this trial, and they turned on the cat filter, and he could not figure out how to turn it off. The judge was like, could you turn that off? And he's like, my assistant's here, and she can't figure it out. He's like, I'm not a cat.
The Honorable Bauer does not look very happy about the cat being on the screen.
I mean, how do you take it seriously? And then you also can't verify that it really is the person that it's supposed to be.
Right. That's right. I mean, technically, I guess the cat could give the defense or whatever they were doing, right? It just would be, it would be unique.
It's one of the pitfalls, I guess, of technology. But you know what else is kind of funny? If you notice the tiny, tiny name by the cat's face, it's Pawnton. Like paw, like a cat paw almost. It's not spelled that way, but Pawnton.
Right. God. He was probably not very, his children probably got in trouble after that, I would imagine.
I can't imagine. But it'd be kind of cute, you know, going forward if there was always like a token cat or dog or, you know, cute cuddly pet in every Zoom.
Can we try that? Do we have filters in our StreamYard here?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm sure we could come up with something, but I don't see in the settings. There is a green screen. Do you have a green screen option?
Look at us just playing around. I'm afraid. Oh my God. It just went full screen. Now I can see my face really big. It's frightening. I like it much more better small.
You know who will know is Jason. You know, even like when I'm FaceTiming or something with Jason offline, he's always got fun filters popping on. You know, 1 second we'll be talking and the next second he's got like a unicorn head.
Sure. You guys, you have to tell us, what would you imagine Tina and I to be if we were not ourselves?
You know, we did that one time with real costumes, right? We started off with masks on the show. That was fun.
Right. Or the witch hat for Halloween. Okay, speaking of costumes, this isn't exactly a costume, but do you have your little samurai guy behind you? We talk about this. And so this seems like a right moment. Hopefully you can, there you go.
Shifting.
Ta-da. Ta-da. Tell everybody about, this is such a cool story. So tell everybody about this.
Okay, so this guy, he's like a traditional Japanese samurai warrior. It's like the outfit that he would wear. And he's all handmade by artists in Wisconsin's sister state of Chiba, Japan. So like, if you look here, this is all like paper, but it's like all lacquered and everything. And apparently it takes like several hundred hours to make. If you've ever been to City Hall in Manitowoc, there's a full-size one up on the second floor before you get to like the mayor's office. So they sent this when we got married back in 2004.
So he's been part of this little samurai guy has been part of your life since 2004.
Yeah, and we absolutely love him. And when she was a baby, like, you know, of course we had this picture, and every now and then he still loves to come in here and like put it on his head, but now his head is huge and it just looks ridiculous.
Can you hold it up close for people to see what the texture is or what it like looks like? That is so amazing. It's just so incredible to me, like the artistry and the time that goes into that. I don't have that wired. Oh, look at the inside of the helmet is even decorated.
Yeah, it's like fabric and paper. And I know that they said the one at City Hall took maybe like, God, the details. It was either like 400 or 700 hours to make all this by hand.
It's so, so pretty. What an amazing wedding gift, like, and an amazing thing to kind of not only remember the year you got married, but just to, the effort that went into that.
I mean, I get excited anytime a package arrives, even if I know what's going to be in it. But when a package arrives and it is stamped with like customs labels and has all these, you know, fascinating and beautiful stamps from Japan, and you open it up and it's got this incredible piece of art that you know was like made for you, it's overwhelming. Yeah, right. I absolutely love him.
You just said art. I know we didn't plan on talking about this, but have you submitted your self-portrait to the Rahr West Art Museum?
I did, if you can call it that, because I'm not an artist like that.
Hold on, I have it here. Keep talking.
Did you do one, Kristin? Are you submitting one?
We are going to submit. I don't know if I'm going to do one. We'll see. Artistry is not my thing. I don't feel like this would ever turn out in the good version. But yeah, you can still turn these in. I think they're going to continue to take them, is what I saw online recently. But so here's the
Yes, the Portrait of Manitowoc project. So that's artist Sonia Vasquez pictured there.
Yes. And so the idea is you can pick up these little portrait cards. They're just kind of like a recipe card, I guess, but it's special paper. And then you're supposed to draw a portrait, and it says basically any two-dimensional media is appropriate. You can use oils, acrylic paint, watercolor, pencils, markers, oils, pastels, whatever. It just has to be 4x6 dimensions. So there you go. If you haven't picked one of these up, but basically on the back, you're supposed to include your name, your age, the medium that you use, and then you're supposed to write, how do you feel about your identity in relation to Manitowoc? And they are going to put these up at the Raw Recipe. There's going to be like this huge walking tour of Manitowoc. So there's still time. I think they said they were just going to continue to accept them. So there's plenty of time to get it done. But
yeah, they haven't started the installation yet. So hold the card the other way, Kristin. Flip it this way. Now flip it. Nope. Yes, just like that. Make sure when you do it that's the orientation that you do it in.
Okay.
All of them to be that sort of portrait style.
No landscape.
No landscape.
Only portrait.
Yep. And I would love to see every one of your faces. And you get to be creative, and it does not have to be high art. There's no expectation that, you have the level of Monet and you're doing this, right?
Well, that's good, because you will not get high art out of me. I do other things to high intensity. Art is not one of them.
I was like, before I did anything to the actual art paper, I drew like one on the side. I don't think I have it anymore because it was terrible. And I was just practicing, like trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because I don't really have that skill. And Teak walked into my office and goes, "Oh my God, what is that?" So that's the level of like the quality I was able to do, right? So please do it. Do not hold back. And yet, Patty, a stick figure is still art.
Right. There's a very good possibility that mine will be a combination of like stick figure with a little bit of stylish hair. That is what I imagine mine to look like. But
say however you can imagine it. I had Teak do it, and it was just kind of cute to see what he came up with. It's kind of like a cartoony style. But then he said, okay, there's this question on the back that you have to do. And I just left him to it. And I was really kind of touched by his remarks, like how he handled that. So,
well, and I feel like the answers are going to vary. Like if I asked my 7-year-old, what was the question? And see, I already forgot. I do not retain things. This is, Lord help me as I get older. How do you feel about your identity in relation to Manitowoc? I feel like my 7-year-old is going to give an incredibly different answer than, you or I might, or I don't know.
But I love it as like a whole project too. Like what a cool snapshot of the community to see like kids' voices, adult voices. I can't wait. I think this is going to be a really cool exhibit.
It will be. And the Rauwest Museum, I think, is open again. Did I hear that right?
I think that if they haven't, that it's really close.
Okay.
I think the library's opening again too.
Library opens tomorrow. We are going. The girls are so excited. They can't wait to like go and touch books in the library again. I know that sounds bizarre, but that's the real.
It is. Sometimes just walking through the stacks is heaven. It's heaven.
I know. You wouldn't think somebody would be so surprised about the library, but it is like an important part of at least our life. We're excited. So
it's an incredible resource. So lucky to have it. Hey, are you reading a good book at all lately?
I'm actually reading Where the Crawdads Sing right now. And then prior to that, I read something called, don't quote me on this, The Paper Wife, which was about Chinese women being immigrated into the U.S. on false documents, which was really interesting. I don't know how factual it is, but it was a fictional story, but it was really good. And then I'm trying to think what I read before that. I read a thriller before that. I'll have to look it up and tell you.
It's kind of, terrifying. Like we're really quite fortunate when you think about it, right? To have like a legitimate lifestyle happening here. When you think about something like The Paper Wife, they had to leave everything that they knew under false pretenses. Can you imagine always like living sort of in fear of being found out and not feeling like fully realized? It reminds me, I'm listening right now to American Dirt by
Oh,
Jane Cummings, and it's just, it's breaking my mind open because it's the story of these migrants trying to find a better life, trying to escape like the violence and poverty and just all of the horrible things. And God,
yeah.
to not have to go through that is really a gift.
It is incredible. I tend to we have Amazon Prime and I have a Kindle. And so I typically will just go into that top 10 or top 15 list on Kindle and read books for free, whatever's out there that has good reviews. And sometimes I get lucky and it's really good. Sometimes, they're not that great, but I actually bought Where the Crawdads Sing because I've had a couple of people recommend it. So
can you tell us at all about that?
It's the beginning. I'm early in the book, but basically the premise is there's a young family. The dad tends to be or gets violent and is an alcoholic. And like one by one, first the mom leaves and never comes back. And then the siblings, there's 4 or 5 kids, the siblings leave. And eventually there's this 7-year-old girl left by herself with the father. And basically it's kind of a story of like, how does she survive and overcome? And eventually he leaves and disappears as well. And she's completely by herself. So like by the age of 12 or something like that, she's completely by herself, like in the marshes in the South. And so it's kind of her story. So I think I'm probably only a third of the way in, but it's good so far. It's just, again, nothing. It's very different than what I've read before.
And I think that's one of the reasons that stories are so important, is that it allows you to experience the perspective of a whole nother life experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just different. So, even in the book, they really highlight like these marsh people were considered dirty and outsiders. So if they go into town, then people would make fun of them or give them a hard time because they weren't like them. So it's been interesting so far.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good way to develop empathy too, right? Like when you can see what the actions of the people in the town have on the people that are coming in and how they're treated.
Yeah.
If ever confronted with a situation like that, doesn't it make you feel like you treat it more empathetically than you might otherwise?
Yes, absolutely. And even this girl, she has this income source when her father's around. And so every Monday he would give her some money to get some groceries or gas for this little boat they have or whatever. And then when he disappears, she no longer has an income stream. So she has to figure out how she's going to make money. And so she goes about that in different ways. But it's just interesting to see, like, my oldest child is 11 years old. So that is like, at this point, how old this girl is. And she's 100% self-sufficient and finding ways to get income so that she continue to support herself. And yeah, it's very interesting.
Hey, we just got a message from Jamie who says, hey, from Ludington, we love coming over to your town.
Good morning, Jamie.
Thanks so much for writing us, Jamie. We'd love to see you next time that you're in town once the Badger's running again.
I know. I bet it's snowing over there too. It's probably been snowing here long enough that it made it all the way across the lake. She'll have to tell us.
Yeah. So, Kristin, we were talking about stories. We mentioned a dad. That was an example of a not so good dad, but I know you've got an awesome dad. I'm going to put up a picture because it was just his birthday. Will you tell us about this?
Yeah. So his birthday was on the 7th, and we talked last week, and we talked so much we forgot to pull it up. But yeah, my dad turned 79 last week, and we had an opportunity to go over there and have dinner and celebrate, and it's just so much fun to obviously, still have him around. And I think he said something silly like, well, I'm thankful I'm still here, or something like that. So I just think it's so cute. And somebody commented on this picture on my personal Facebook page saying, like, you guys have the same smile and like the same nose. And all growing up, because I had brown eyes, my everybody always said I look like my mom. And now I can just, in the last, especially probably 10 to 15 years, I feel like I am my father's daughter.
I definitely, if you look at the two of you, look at that side-by-side comparison from
Right.
your chin to your smile. Yeah, your nose, it kind of changes in the eyes. So I bet your eyes are like your mom's, but
Right.
you can definitely tell that's your dad.
Yeah. Even like the crows, what do they call them? Crow's feet around our eyes. They have kind of the same pattern. And My dad always had the best, like he still does, the best scowl. Like he was always, just sometimes a little on the grumpy side. So he's got these great creases in his head. And I imagine that at some point, I'm more of a high eyebrow girl, clearly. But yeah, at some point, I feel like those will be ingrained. I'll be able to have pride in those just like my dad does.
So did you have to scowl because you were misbehaving? Is that what you're telling us?
Good. I know. He just, I have to think about. Have you ever seen the Jeff Dunham skit where he has Walter? He's the old grumpy man puppet. I'm certain somebody listening has seen Jeff Dunham and Walter. But anyway, we just always joke that my dad looks like Walter. And he appreciates it and he likes Jeff Dunham. So it's okay that we joke about that. But yeah, I feel like he's just always had, he's not grumpy most of the time, but he just always has had like this great dad, like scowl or something. I don't know. And so
that's awesome.
We would laugh at him because he would give us that.
And so fortunate that he is around and that he can still be part of your daughter's lives.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's just really, I'm really thankful because I feel like our kids are old enough now that they will have memories of him. And, it makes me even want to do more. Like when they were little and I was a full-time mom at home, I often.
Information.
Yeah, Risa knows my dad. So she would also know that he's Walter. But, they're old enough that they have these memories now. And so it makes us want to do more. And we used to do breakfast on Fridays a lot when I was home and they were little. We would go meet my mom and dad out. And now that we're homeschooling this year, if we get our stuff done on Fridays, we often go and meet them for breakfast again. And I just think it's cool that the girls will have like, these kind of routines and things that are kind of built in that they will be able to remember him. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel really, really fortunate too that my parents are here. And every Sunday they spend time with my son, which is so cool. You're right. Just building those memories together.
Right. Yeah. It's like, and there's nothing like that grandparent relationship. So I think it's really cool. And, even the girls, we went back to Ohio this last weekend to visit Doug's family. And so again, for the girls to get to visit and spend time with their other grandparents and have memories there too. It's just, we feel lucky to be able to do that with both sets of grandparents all being, alive and well.
Hey, confirmation from Ludington. Yep, they've got snow. All right, we'll see you next summer.
Yes. Jamie, I think we're heading over your way. We're going to head to northern Michigan in June. And I think we're going to either take the car ferry there and then drive up or maybe take it back. We haven't decided yet, but we'll visit our friends in Ludington, one of the ways, hopefully.
Yeah, Ludington is such a charming town.
They have the best beach, you guys. Ludington has fabulous beaches. If you've never been there, it's nothing like our side of the lake.
This has something to do with the winds, right? Like the way the wind plays on the lake. We get more like cliffs along our shoreline, and then they've got the big sandy beaches.
Yeah, it's like white sand, nice sand, and you feel like you would be in Florida on their beach, and then you come over by us, and there's like seaweed and cliffs, and I don't know what else. But.
Oh, and also the sunset. Hey, Jamie, while you're paying attention, so this year, because the water level is so high, we've actually lost a lot of beach. Have the beaches on your side been impacted by the high water level?
That's a good question. Maybe it's like their side has gotten bigger and our side is like the water has pulled up.
Interesting.
Maybe there's a gravitational pull on the lake that, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now. Nobody believed me about that. That was.
Yes, this is not meant for your science class at all, this conversation. Hey, Kristin, for the last couple of weeks, we were talking about goals, and I saw this posted, and I really thought this kind of summed up well sort of what we've been talking about, that the dream written down with a date becomes a goal, right? And that's kind of what you had us do, right? We put our resolutions down on paper. We made them goals. And then a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And again, that's what you guided us to do, right? To order them and to number them in priority. And then a plan backed by action becomes reality.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I couldn't think of a better way to summarize all that work we did in January around goals than this perfect little meme on this perfect little piece of paper. I mean, really, this is it. this is the perfect, concise way to think about that work that we did. And yeah, I think the key thing here is the action piece. Like, you can plan and plan and plan, but if you don't actually take that first step, it's not going to happen. So,
and Jamie said it's been terrible there too. We were talking about the high water. So with any property along the lake.
Yes. Thanks, Jamie. That's so fun. Look at us just having a little conversation with somebody on the other side of our lake.
Yeah, this is a cool interstate broadcast this morning.
That's very good. So you guys, we still would love to hear about how you're doing with goals. If somebody had, hey, good morning, Matt. Matt, I didn't cough the entire show. Can you believe it? We had a little bit of a intense workout this morning, and I have what I like to call CrossFit cough happening today, and I've been able to hold it off. Kind of, you hear it? It's in there. It just has a way of shaking things loose. It's a good thing.
Well, I'm impressed you haven't done it during the show. Really good job. You are like a pro, Kristin. It's kind of like we were talking about how we've been doing this for almost a year, how we were born from the pandemic, the idea for this show.
Yes.
Early on, there was a show and there was a technical difficulty where like the battery or something on the device we were broadcasting from died. So it kicked me out of the show without being able to tell you that, but it didn't end the show. And so it was just, you were still live and you were such a pro about it. I would love to go back and watch that issue because you just, you smiled and you drank your coffee, and it was like at the end of a newscast, right? Where people like kind of like stack their papers.
I just didn't know if the show was actually still on. And I thought, I can't do something inappropriate or get up and leave my seat, or like, I'm representing the show. I'm the sole person right now. I think I cannot change anything. So, you're a pro. What we need to decide is, how are we going to celebrate? You guys, at the end of March, which is like right around the corner, it's 1 year since Jason and I did the first show, and it's coming up in April since Tina and I did Moms in Lockdown. So we have to like celebrate.
And especially if we can all get out and play, that would be amazing. First of all, Jason says, yep, he remembers that. Kristin, always a pro. But with Matt DeMarco commenting too, it was so fun when we went rock climbing. It would be awesome to have another adventure like that, whether it's rock climbing again, or, we could have like a game of laser tag. Wouldn't that be fun?
Laser tag is fun and it's intense. We should have a ladies' night. We were kicking ideas around, and actually some people had even given me some dates, but I did not do action around it. So I failed. But I'm glad that it's been brought up again. So I think the perfect way to celebrate would be to be able to do this show in person with both of us on the same screen. How cool would that be?
Can you imagine? We could actually high five.
We could high five for real. See, I almost did it wrong.
Oh, here, let me hold it right here. Okay, go. Yes! True pro.
I feel like I don't have good, I need to work on my sound effects.
You know what? That would be a nice addition to what we have, is if we had a little sound effect machine.
Hey, hashtag goals. Things we can look at. My big investment in 20 was my light lamp. $30 on Amazon, the best money I spent all year. You too can have one. So maybe next year it's the sound bar.
There you go. There you go.
A little sound mixer or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Right, so you're right.
I have it here, but I can't show it. I have you dubbed the music over it for me, but I don't know how to get it to you. So
yeah, maybe we could have Jason upload it for next time. Jason, awesome idea. Office patio in the spring.
Yes, I love it.
Once the doors.
That would be a lot of fun.
Hey, and by the way, Jamie said, now that the Lions lost to Stafford, 100% Packer fan. Well, that took long enough.
I'm with you.
Nice. Well, Kristin, this has been too fun. I love it. What a great, great snowy Tuesday morning.
I know. I hope you have a great day, Tina. It was good to see you. It's always good to see you.
Thanks, you too. And thanks everybody for participating. It's so fun having this conversation with you. We will see you next time on Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Stay warm.